Hey everybody, we are here today with special guest Crrow777. Hello, Crow.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Haven't been here in a while.
No, I was listening to you the other day on I'm sorry, I can't remember his name now. Is it Bear? Somebody Bear?
You mean Owen Benjamin, maybe?
Oh, maybe. He had quite a few people listening in.
Yeah, I've done Owen a couple times. I've been going everywhere I can. I've been very busy. It was hard for me to figure out a time over the last couple of weeks to get over here.
I know, but thank you very much for finding that time because I know you're a really busy person and we're a very small channel, so we're even smaller now. We're back, but it's a
Yeah,
great pleasure.
what happened there? They deleted your bigger channel?
Yeah, they deleted the bigger channel and we're on a smaller
How come?
channel. This was last year though. We've had a hangout since then though, haven't we?
I don't think we ever talked about it. What was the reason they gave?
Well, the list was from here to here and it was full of loads of things and I wrote 25 emails to them and I also asked for, to reprieve the channel and I heard nothing.
That sounds about right. They do what they want. They have no concern for the truth of the matter, which people put hundreds of hours, if not thousands, into these channels. It's kind of
Yeah,
criminal on the face of it.
I understand. The other day I saw them, they took off. I was actually on there and I refreshed the page and I saw a couple of the posts, about 100 went off each of them. So say they said 250, when I refreshed the page, they were 150. But they told me that it goes, because obviously I've been writing, it goes through to a pool and then these advertisers. I said, what? The businesses run you then? And then I look at the chat and it says Google Chat, Google Chat. It doesn't say YouTube, it says Google Chat. So you're never talking to YouTube, you're talking to Google.
Yeah, of course. Well, we when we do what we do it informational. We do research. We do research that most people can get access to. Um, so
To be honest, I've been quite upset because, when I can see it happening, and then I put a video out last night and they cut about 30 seconds off the end. They keep doing that as well. If they're not taking the views off, they're cutting the videos.
what is it that you're talking about that seems to be violating their sensibility?
Well, this is more on the other channel than this one's at the Hangout channel, and the other one's more to do with, well, it's been about the press. It's
Oh,
been
well,
about the press.
there's your problem. Yeah, you can't talk about well, you know what you can't talk about. I don't want you get you in trouble here. It's a
Well, you
bit
can't really
silly.
talk about anything anymore. All the things that I'd gone on, like was the Watts case, which I told you about, which is this weird case. But anyway, there's problems with that one. I can't do, I stick up something that's got Donald Trump on it. I can't do that one. It goes on. I can't do that. I can't do that. You don't have a freedom of speech. There is none. Not like we'd like at all.
No, it's come down to where you've got to run your own server, your own website, and all that costs money, and
They
it's quite
turned
a
it into
hassle.
businesses, haven't they? You're a business now.
Well, actually, I don't consider myself a business, but the truth is it all does cost and it all has gotten more expensive. All these tools that were given away for like WordPress and those things are not free anymore. They hooked you in to the services giving it away. Then of course they start charging whatever they want. It's not easy when you get to be a certain level to switch that stuff over. Um,
It's just the way, if you've noticed the admin tab, it now says, well, you were getting these views, now you're getting this. And I'm thinking, well, the reason I'm getting that is because you've changed everything. That's why. Not for any other reason. They've made sure that groups like mine are just, it's like I'm getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's quite demoralizing, really, actually, when you spend so much
well,
time in
y
trying to make a channel and they're telling you. And you know what? One of the things on the list was circumventing, which I've been very careful not to do. And they told us exactly what they told me to do. Go and make a big shout out on one of your videos. Stop to me, whatever it is. That's what they asked me to do. I've got that on video. I videoed what they said to me.
I don't.
It's on Unscrambled.
What is circumventing? You mean trying to get around the guidelines or
Well,
something like that?
circumventing is almost like Well, constantly putting links out. You know, you're circumventing. You're giving out
Oh,
information. You're all
I
that.
see.
So,
It's driving traffic away from their platform.
but I
Uh,
didn't.
yeah, I know the deal.
Only Facebook, and Facebook's one of them. So, you know, I
Well,
mean,
what we do is we, we're on their platform. They've made it clear that they're going to censor, so we just go middle of the road whenever we do stuff on these platforms. We
so
have free
if
speech.
you have a hangout, right, and I put the link out, that's fine. But if you put the link out, that's circumventing.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Jason and I have done a live stream now, but he runs it. Um, but we're pretty low key when we're using so-called social media because it's pretty clear they're going to censor. They're going to remove all your work and they don't care what you say or what you do, which is a bit, if you're not harming anyone, then what's the problem? But nonetheless, we know what's going on here. So that's basically the whole reason I got a private website. We really don't take social media too seriously anymore because you don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow. You can put no
Well, I have
faith in
had
these
people
things.
say to me that they don't like, they've gone elsewhere. Other channels have left for that reason.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are other platforms, aren't there? And someone said, well, they said they're on another platform. They don't get as many views, but they get more money. But then once those come up, it'll be the same there as well, because the other channels look like, say, YouTube 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's the way it's going. And by the way, I'm sorry. We started late. I have to eat my lunch while we do this, if you don't mind.
It's all right. We still
Yeah,
can't, after all that, get the time right.
I'm back to back. We've got, we're doing 4 hours a week now. I've got a stack of books to get through that is
Yeah, and it's
insane.
tiring, isn't it, doing hangouts? It's tiring. You're giving a part of yourself. It is tiring, all of it.
It is.
Yeah, it wears you out, and when you're doing, Jason and I left TFR because there was a much bigger audience um, following on the live stream that Jason was doing. So we went over to Secrets of Saturn and we started doing the live stream, but that basically amounts now to 4 hours of show every week. And it all has to be backed up, with research and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't just be saying the same thing over and over again, can you? I know what you mean. Hello, it's Crow here. You've got to have something to say. It's a lot of work. I know it is, because I do 2 channels, so I know. You're a bit more organized than me. I'm stealing. I stole my friend Amy, and she helped me make part of a video for yesterday. I got the subject. She talks as well. We're on the phone talking anyway, so it's great. She helps me.
So do you guys still have a core group, or has that all diminished?
No, we still have lots of sun and moon. Patricia's been great over the months as well. She's been really great at helping. Um, no, we do more hangouts on sun and moon, but I'll probably put this on Unscrambled. But I'll probably put this on Unscrambled as well.
We had Dave Marsh on not too long ago. That was a
Ooh.
really good show. He's an interesting guy. So like back in the day, the community helped me upgrade my sky watching tools. So Crrow777 Radio is going to do the same thing for Dave Marsh.
Hey, lovely Dave. I've met Dave. He's lovely.
It's funny. I heard he was on some mainstream tattoo show or something.
Right. Oh yes. I didn't get to see that. Told me what I had to do. I haven't done it. But
I
yeah,
heard it
he
got
had a,
I heard it got censored over in the UK.
no, it wasn't this year, it was last year.
I don't know.
It might have even been the year before. He's just had to wait for that slot to come up. I think it might have even been 2018. I can't remember now. It was definitely
I don't.
last year. It wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think he hadn't done it when he was on my show. So the show must have been recorded in 2019. Some kind of a tattoo. One of these. The reality type, so-called reality programs. But I heard that people in the UK were trying to watch it after the fact, and it got shut down.
Did it? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Someone probably took it and put it on YouTube, and since it's a TV show, they
Yeah.
censor.
that's what happened to Russian vids, isn't it? After his bit where they put it all over the news, and the next thing is he's lost his channel.
He lost another channel?
No, this is from before. This isn't from now. This is from, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago now. But what they did was it was about a certain thing, and then yeah, it went on the news, and then he lost his channel.
Well,
You got the,
what's so
sorry,
funny
carry on.
now, so many people are kind of tuned in to the nonsense that they don't even really need to talk about it. They just reference a given thing so that people understand what's being referenced and everyone chuckles and they all move on. It's not like the old days where, someone had to come draw the lines and dot all the I's. There's been quite a shift.
Yeah, you have to sort of talk a bit in code, don't you? To each
Well,
other.
yeah, even so, if you go down that road, they'll cause trouble for you sooner or later. We don't even bother. We put out researched information and everything that falls under the category of free speech. We do it on the private server, which is silly. I mean, we're not harming anyone. We don't pick fights with anyone or silliness like that. But nonetheless, if we want to talk about anything serious, we have to do it off social media.
Hmm. Oh, what to say to that one then? That yeah, it's not good, is it, if we're not really allowed to say what we want at all? Because that's what it is, isn't it? We've got to talk about other things now.
Well, I noticed.
I don't really know where to go with Unscrambled. We were on this court case, and then, I did a bit about politics, and then yeah, I can't see anything right. Even this bit of footage I looked at Elvis Presley last night. I'm looking at it, and none of it looks right. None of it.
Of course not. It's entertainment. But for a long time there, it looked like a lot of FE people were just knocked down one after the other. And I always wondered, was it, were they talking about other things or was it just that category that was being removed? And if that's the case, that's a telling thing.
You mean you just don't mention that word anymore? Well, two words. Just don't mention it
No,
anymore.
I don't mention anything that matters on social media anymore because in your case, you're trying to rebuild a channel, you've got people, what's the point? It's a risk reward thing. I don't have to care about it as much because I've got my private website. But let me tell you something, that just having a website, it's not just cost, it's how much time it takes to manage it. And yeah, it's a different world now. Used to be you could put up a website for $100, go a couple years. Those days are long gone.
Well, I'm struggling a bit with having two channels, to be honest. It's quite a lot of work,
Yeah,
and it just is. And I'm exhausted. I wasn't very well at the weekend, and yeah, I found that I had no inner voice suddenly. I don't know. There's like two inner voices, but there was one of them missing, and I thought, oh. That's how I felt. I think with all the things that were happening, that I was watching YouTube, I wasn't coping very well for a few days there. What it is these things probably happen, but I actually saw it happen, and then somebody else told me, yeah, that they'd lost 200 views on theirs as well. So I thought, oh, it's not me then, is it? It's not me imagining it. But I was getting a bit upset at the weekend because it's just like I'm not a particularly big channel anyway. If you're going to start taking hundreds of views off, then I'm going to be nothing. It's what they want, isn't it? Nothing. They want me to be zero.
yeah. It's ridiculous, some of the targeting that goes on and the control of everything. And the truth of it is, when you have to exert that much control, you can't maintain that. This is an unsustainable model. One way or the other, something's got to change.
Sounds like they just want to get rid of people like us. That's what it seems like, really.
It's going to become the new Hollywood, isn't it? If you want to kick people in the crotch or play with a hula hoop, you can have 1 million followers. If you want to talk about serious issues like an adult, that's not really permissible. Because
Did you
that would include news or things about the world, and that's what gets censored.
did you hear about the bit where there was somebody they were looking into the MTMHL, the back of the of your this guy, he noticed that this woman she only had a few videos out, but whatever she put out seemed to get like millions of views. And when you looked at her content, it wasn't very good. This person went and looked at the gobbledygoo, and he found out that she had, like she had a good rating on her channel, but he saw on other channels that they had a bad rating, and that's what they've done to me as well. So not only are they cutting the videos, taking the views off, they've also got me on a low algorithm thing, probably the same.
Yeah, when they deleted my channel, searches on my name all over the web went down to a minuscule. It used to be in the millions. Now it's a couple thousand. I don't put descriptions on my videos. I don't title them as I used to. I don't comment on social media ever. That's what it's come to. I'm not going to put my effort into something like this that's, so arbitrarily taken out. Can you imagine how many thousands of hours with all the telescope work and everything I had in, it's over almost 5 years of telescope work, then all the podcasts on top of that, when they took down my channel in 2017, and that was it. Everyone's all, make a new channel. I said, I'm not doing that. Never, never, ever will I do that. It's ridiculous. And so then I get these emails from the owners of this platform saying, oh, please make sure you put good descriptions on your videos so we can give you good search returns. It's all quite laughable. Before they took down my channel, there were 16 to 20 million returns on a Crrow777 search. After the fact, there were 2,000. So yeah,
but that's them changing things as well, though,
yeah,
isn't it?
it's an algorithm. You're basically by not all this work that you've done online is now bottlenecked, and you don't know who did it or what the criteria
Well,
were
I think
for it.
it's to do with that children's, the Children Act. Like
Oh,
now,
this was long before that.
oh yeah, it was May last year. Then they did one in November, and the last one was January. But the January one, they've used the children law. So basically, now if you're okay with children, then you get a better rating than if you're not. And you're like, what? Like, it's not that you don't want children to have a voice. What, they run YouTube now? Is it there? It's ridiculous. But they've managed to use that to do what they want. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's nobody's an adult anymore, Nobody can act like an adult. In the 70s, stuff like this would not have flown. People were higher minded. People had a better sense of, moral uprightness. And now it's completely lost track of. I just mark all my stuff as not for children. I don't even care anymore about social
Yeah,
media. We use it. That's not
gets a
true.
little like
We
that.
care. Yeah, we care about the big following. And so we maintain that. But the truth is, we're not using it like we used to. Why would you? Why would you put that much effort into a thing when nobody's even quite sure what the exact rules are? And when you get censored, there's no one to email. When you get stuff removed, so it's just not worth it. It's a bit of a joke.
You said something on a hangout. Not, I can't remember. I think it was probably the last one we did when you said it wasn't now. It was about the 1930s. Well, what was happening to the people? Were they asleep? No, they weren't. They were awake. They were probably saying all the things we were. They seem to take these people take no notice. They just carry on. You're making videos showing that there's something really wrong with the president and he's orange. And nobody says anything. You say something about space, and no one says anything. And you just try, in the end, you're trying to put your
No,
stuff out, and they're
it's
trying to
just
squash you.
it keeps you off balance. It's arbitrary. They keep acting like they update the rules so you can understand, but what it basically comes down to is you can't talk about a single thing that has to do with the news. If you do politics, that's risky. Clearly anything about where we live, that's censorable. But you see, there's no clear-cut guideline. What it's meant to do is basically put everything like I've known people who ran interesting channels and now they just run videos and they don't speak. So they've self-censored because of this kind of carry exertion
I
of
tried
nobody.
that, and then somebody made a comment where you're not speaking. It's not the same, and it's like, oh, I just started speaking again. I made a
Well,
video with just words in there for that
truth
reason,
is,
because I thought,
yeah,
get it out without speaking.
they own these platforms, and that's all there is to it. It's unfortunate. You see, initially when this platform that we're using now went out, it was advertised as a public forum. Well, a public forum has the propensity to have to provide free speech. So now that's all changed. Now they're saying, if you don't make money, we may just remove your channel if it's not commercially viable. but you can see this platform is slowly going towards a more Hollywoodish look and feel. Only
Well,
the
I
big,
wish I had a bit more money because I know where I'd be going after what I've seen. But yeah, I don't, so I can't. Sorry, I hope you can't hear my dog.
No, you can still meet with your friends and talk about things. You just can't talk about things that matter, because if you do, and the other thing is this flagging nonsense, yeah, it's just, how do you take any of this seriously if you're an adult? That's my point.
What's this
And
flagging bit then, Crow?
what's that?
What's the flagging bit then?
They claim people flag your video because there's something wrong
Right.
with the content, but what we've kind of figured out is it's not just people doing that, it's bots or AI. And that's the excuse. Oh, you got flagged, so now we're going to take a look at you. And not only that, videos that have been up for years, all of a sudden they're no longer acceptable. They've been up for like 4 or 5 years, and then that's a problem. It's all control of information, it's all censorship, and it's all meant to keep you off balance. But people have lost their damn wits. If you put thousands of hours into a thing and it gets closed down, why would you start up again? You're just doing it's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing expecting a different outcome, basically. So I mean, you can go over to my channel right now, you won't see any comments from me, you won't see any descriptions. In the descriptions, I wish everybody a happy, healthy, and higher minded year. That's what I do.
But the reason that you don't is because of the rules you're under.
No, it's because I'm not going to put effort into a platform that might be gone tomorrow. And if it is gone, there will be no one to contact about it. And if you could, they still don't give a damn. And the idea of it, to so casually remove that many hundreds or thousands of hours of an individual's work, it's beyond the pale. People did not used to get treated in this way.
Actually, I'll call the word dirty. It's dirty.
It is. This is, you see, it's the same old song and dance. This platform started out as something totally different, and then the goalposts started moving.
Come along now, hasn't it? With the big
it always was big business.
The adverts, like, God, the adverts now. Maybe 3 adverts before you can get to a video. Come on.
Well,
trying to get to the people.
Yeah, you're never getting around the advertising. That's a big part of how this is all paid for and becomes business and all. But the point is when we first started doing this, it was different. But they knew from the outset, if they changed the rules to where they were now back then, they wouldn't be as big as they are now. So they just gradually did it. What people need to do is just be adults. If something is done to you and it's unacceptable, then why do you accept it? Go somewhere else, go do something else. Voice your opinion. That's what I'm saying. And so people, people are, well, where's your backup channel? I'm never going to have a backup channel. Why would I? Why, you're saying you're running 2 channels. Look how much of your life is put into that. Yeah. It's a shame.
No, I see where you're coming from. I just wish that, I had, I wish I felt like you did. I'm quite upset about it, but doesn't make much difference, does it? I just like, when you actually see them, you turn the page and you know that 200 views has gone, like, just like that. Like, they don't care. And all the other things,
you were using a free service, and whenever you're using a free service, you better understand what's the product there. You are.
And they just cut my video last night. In fact, it was nothing like that. It was about Alan Watts. It was some of his words, but they cut the last 30 seconds off.
Yeah.
It's just a bit. It's just like, oh my goodness! If you're not getting me on that, you're getting me on this. If you're not it's like, I can see you doing it.
So
other people can see it. I suppose you see it. We all see it.
I don't even pay attention to views. I could care less about the amount of subs or the view. It's not real data to me. It's all manipulated. It's all screwed with. I look at my website. I can go to Google Analytics and get data, and then look at my server analytics, and they're not the same. And
so part of the reason you've gone is because of what's happening. You've gone for that reason.
The justification is that, we process the data this way. This is what we call a hit, or this is what we call a convert. All these rules they have of what is what, and yet, you know, that's how it's all done. But the point is, I don't know, what do I have, 100 and I don't even remember, 140, or I don't even know. I have
What,
140
on
some
YouTube,
thousand
you mean?
followers. Yeah.
Mm.
But I don't care. You know, there was when this first happened, it's like a kick in the gut. When they took down the channel, it was like, oh my God, man, can you imagine all the editing time, all the filming of that stuff, just all gone like that. And then after a couple of days, I got my breath back. I said, okay, we know what this is. And everyone's all put up a new channel. I said, I'm never putting up a new channel. They did put my channel back 3 weeks later. We have no idea why. No one tells you anything. As a matter of fact, they didn't even email me to tell me my channel. You know how I knew my channel was back? I got a copyright notice for some music on a video that wasn't even mine. And I'm all, what is this? I don't even have a channel. So I logged in and there was a channel back, but it wasn't like mine. It was kind of mine. And I was just done. And so just by chance, the next day I said, I'll try to log in one more time. And I did. And there it was, back with 2 strikes,
Well,
by the way. And right there, are you going to come at this common sense? The problem
I
is
don't
for most
understand
people,
why
it's
they can't, like, write to you and say, well, look, there's this, and this. Please, can you amend it, and give you a few days to do it? Because obviously, I've got hundreds of videos on there. It could take me hours to amend it. But over the months, I've learned, like, not to. I've learned things,
because,
like,
yeah,
I don't use
it's
certain words now. Now my videos aren't on yellow. What do you call it? That's because obviously on the other channel I'm monetized. This one on Sun and Moon I'm not, but the other one I am. And so they're all the videos now are on yellow at the beginning.
well, the truth is we're all using social media. Most of social media is free, and somebody owns it, which gives them control.
But shouldn't this have been
That's the
something that they
facts.
should have had in place in the first place, rather than about 10 years after we were using it?
Well, they wouldn't
Shouldn't.
have grown. This wouldn't have, in 2000, what's going on now wouldn't have been acceptable. This is incrementally put in place. Um, it's what it is. It's unfortunate because most people can't afford to run private websites, because even now that's hugely expensive to do, and everything costs. If you want a forum, or you want, just everything has a price now. Um, not like it
I just
was.
thought it was incredible seeing big business, and what it was is they're going, well, you go into a pool and the business is. I said, what? The businesses do, or you? That means that they're running it. So maybe they were in the first place, but now I know they are.
Well, there would have been a time in this world when you were given something for free, you would have asked, what are you taking in return? By the time 1999 was here, I think it was the CEO of Sun Microsystems informed us all there's no more privacy in the world. And everyone laughed because they didn't believe it. He told the truth. Basically, what had happened is they gave all these free services like email, which is still free for most people today,
Mm.
YouTube, all the social media, basically free. And what were you giving in return? Your data. They took data on everything you did. Your entire life is how you paid for all these free services. And so how did it come to be that we got to a point where no one could ask anymore? Well, wait a minute, you don't get something for nothing. People had forgotten common sense. There's no free lunch. And so when you logically analyze what's gone on here, it's pretty clear in 2000, if the rules were like they are now, they wouldn't have grown as big as they are, because people probably wouldn't have accepted it. But now that the rules are like they are, what's the truth? The truth is you're using a free service that you don't own. So to try to complain or do something about it is a bit futile, unless everybody says this is unacceptable, which doesn't seem to be happening.
Yeah, I always think it's weird that say with pick you, because obviously I haven't been going as long as you, but you've got a video right back at the beginning now, and then they changed the law. If they've changed the law years after those videos have been out, and you've changed it, I just find this whole thing really weird. And I think they
Well,
should
that's
leave
another
those.
thing, though. It's not a law, is it? It's a corporation saying these are our corporate rules. That's basically what it is. It's just unfortunate. Back in the day, in the 70s and the 60s, there was an idea that there was a fourth estate, and that was supposed to be the free media, was considered the fourth estate. Well, people kind of know better now. How is it that you can have media that's supposedly the fourth estate, supposed to, be the watchdog for criminal government actions or whatever all these things that the fourth estate's supposed to do. But if you question anything the media reports, you've broken the rules. We've come a long way. And this is simply about common sense. And what most people choose to do is complain about it. But what's to complain about? It's pretty obvious what's happening here.
So you're the kind of person that's like, well, that's it, right? So you put it in your brain, right? Let's move on. That's how you are, isn't it?
Let me ask you a question. If you had 100,000 subscribers on this channel, would you face the fact that you could wake up tomorrow and it would be gone? Or would you be trying to say, I'll do anything I can to keep this up?
Yeah,
See, those are really your choices.
I see what you're saying. So you're just, yeah.
You can't, use these things, but be careful how much effort you put into them, because that can be gone in a moment's notice. And I think it's pretty clear that this is all headed to a more if you look at the biggest channels, they have a bit of a Hollywoodish overtone, entertainment overtone. So I think 10 years from now, this platform will probably be primarily like that.
I think they want you to be with your face more on it as well, not just icons. They want your face there. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not putting my face on there because they AI you.
Well, I'm looking at your face right now. You've already been AI'd.
Yeah, I already have, but they can really only do it now for the last year or two from a photograph of me rather than my.
Well, don't you live in London?
I'm not that far from it.
Yeah, that's one of the most CCTV, most camera.
But that's so they say, isn't it? Because you just don't know whether, because I mean.
Well, think about it. If you go to the ATM, you're on a camera. If you go to everywhere you go, yeah. I mean, it used to be like when I first started doing it, I just didn't want to be famous, and people were trying to track me down and act like I was some star that I'm not. That's how it started for me. I wanted my privacy, but the truth is every time we go out in the world, probably the vast majority of time we're at any service of any kind, we're on camera. So that bird flew a long time
maybe that bit
ago.
we're alike, because I'm not that bothered about myself either, which is why I don't have to sit there with my face on there, because the hangouts are about the other people for a start. So I'm not bothered about me either. I'm not looking to be queen of the internet. I'm trying to get
if people keep using these things and they don't come to a realization that's factual, then this goes on. I mean, either it's acceptable or it's not.
What are they turning us into, Crow?
Well, if you do what most people do, I lost my channel, so I'm going to make another one. They turn you into a hamster that doesn't stick up for what's correct. If it happens to me, I'll walk the hell away and give them the finger on the way out the back door. And I don't ever forget that I gave them the finger. I'm not playing that game. I will not play that game.
You did the right thing, didn't you? Because you've already got your own platform.
Well, the about page on my platform was written in 2013. That was long before most people knew what was coming. I knew what was coming. It was clear as a bell what was coming. I never doubted for a moment that free speech was going to be on the chopping block. And the reason is because even if it wasn't a problem, damn well someone's going to put up some horrendous video that's going to cause trouble. It's like the news, right? Something horrendous is going to be done, whether it's real or not, because that gets reactions. And it was pretty clear the direction this was going to go. I wrote that a total about page is all about free speech. The reason I started my website was written in 2013. So they took down my YouTube channel on.
We've had monovirus, haven't we, over the weekend? That's been the and Meghan and Harry. We've had lots of things they put in our plates to get into. Not me particularly. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't watch the news. That's another thing I don't do. I'm not interested in nonsense. I'd like to have, I don't know how old you are, but people who can remember the 70s or the 60s should have a better handle on what it means to be an adult and what it means to judge a thing for acceptability. That's an important idea that's kind of been programmed out of us. You treat others with respect. And when things like this go on, you're not being treated with respect. You're just a damn number. And not only are you a damn number, the reason you're being treated that way is not a valid reason. From the time you were
Mm.
born in this country, the country that I'm in, the idea was that you had freedom of everything, expression, thought, speech, everything. And what's happened here is the old public forum, which used to be people talking to people in the real world, went away. And this became the public forum. But you see, none of it shifted with it. It's all by design. You see, all the rules and laws that you were told in grade school apply to your government. Your government can't do this, that, or the other thing. It doesn't say a damn thing about corporations. The truth is if you want to be honest about it, in courts in America, it's been shown and approved by the highest courts that a corporation can censor your speech. When you go to work, you're working for a corporation and they can tell you, you're on my clock, you can't talk about that. That's been held up. There it is. There it is right there. A corporation could censor your speech. And what are we doing here? We're speaking on corporate tools that were given to us for free. Well, it wasn't actually for free. We didn't
But these
understand.
platforms, they're a bit weird, really. I've thought about all that myself, But we're on such a weird thing, aren't we? This whole thing is weird. We
It's
shouldn't even be on
sideways.
we shouldn't even be on these platforms. That's what I mean.
Well, it's sideways. In a sane world, the protections and the concerns for living men and living women and living children, by the way, would have traveled away from the public forum, which was outside somewhere in the old days, or to online. But that's not what happened. And it's very bizarre. And it's all designed to be very bizarre. How is it that if we talk about something that doesn't even harm anyone, censorship will be applied, but yet everyone knows if they have children, they have to watch them like a hawk because porn is everywhere on the internet. So how can those two things be hand in hand? The very same corporations that are controlling whether we can talk about this or that or the other thing on social media, many of them control the search engines, don't they?
But
You see what I'm saying here? It's
part
all
of their game.
it's all sideways. So you just have to grow up and you have to realize that there's a whole life offline, and you have to come around to, if they do something terrible to me, why would you come back and ask for another helping? If everyone did that, the size of these platforms would shrink pretty quickly. But instead, what we see is people make 5, 6, 7 backup channels, and this ridiculous hamster wheel game gets played. And I'm not having any of it. If my channel
It's
goes, that'll
different
be
for
the
me
last
because
time. Yeah.
I haven't got another platform. You have, see, and so you're sort of
There
sitting
are other
pretty.
there are other options for you that are not censored like we see here. You could shift. You could do a lot of things if you put your effort into looking. I'm just saying, if I woke up and they took my channel down again, I'd walk the hell away and I'd never come back. That's a fact.
Yeah. So
And by
warned
the
you.
way, every time I posted anywhere on the internet, I would point out, like I did the first time, that 5 years of telescopic observation had been censored and removed. Some of those clips, that was the only, still to this day, some of those clips, the only place they are. Of course, now, Rose is moving a lot of it to BitChute as she can. But the point is, I don't understand why people would get punched in the eye, complain they were punched in the eye, and then go walk into a room where you can be punched in the eye again. It makes zero sense.
Thanks, Crow. Sounds like me then, doesn't it? I don't want to be poked in the eye anymore.
Well, what about
It takes so much of
DTube?
my effort to do these 2 channels, and the thought of, I suppose it's
So
just uploading to
go
others,
shift
isn't it?
everyone, start shifting out everyone, go look at DTube or look at other places. If you're not happy with where you, like, what it comes down to is, it's a simple thing. Are you happy where you're at? If you're happy where you're at, then golden, do what you're doing. If you're not happy where you're at, well, then there's other options.
Mm.
But I'm just saying, if something that you feel is wrong is done to you, why would you step back in line to get the same thing again?
Well, last weekend was a bit much for me when I could see all these things happening, and I'm just like, wow, this is like,
That's
well,
yeah, that's
just
not going away.
no, it's not going to go away.
No. And the one, the most atrocious part about it is that people had forgotten their common sense, at the end of the 90s. Well, here's all this free stuff. Nobody bothered to ask, how is a corporation that's supposedly supposed to make money giving all this for free? What are we giving away in return? That's the real, because that's how the data thing started. So for decades or more than a decade, all that data was collected. Most people had no idea. And now that it's been going on, it's normalized. So people do things like they put Alexa
Do
in
you
their
know the other
house,
thing
which,
I saw as well that I saw that I wouldn't have, it's just when you wake up or the more you wake up, it was the CEO of YouTube and they were basically just looking at the people. I didn't hear her once say, yes, and we give the same to the businesses, to the government, to the media. No, they don't get watched. And if you look, you can see they've got adverts coming on their stuff, so they get paid.
well, look
And
what happened. Yeah.
250,000, 300,000, whatever it is, go and look at it. So not only are they getting, do you understand what I mean? Imagine each little news clip going to cost, they're going to
When,
get
when,
hundreds
when
for
did,
it.
when did you start using YouTube?
Oh, well, we wanted at the beginning, it was to get information out, I don't know, about 4 years ago.
So back in like 2008 and 9, people ran YouTube channels, even people just doing their hobbies. They were making thousands of dollars a month. And then that changed right before I finally gave in. I didn't even want to do this. I filmed the lunar wave in 2012. I didn't put it up till a year later in the fall of 2013. By then, you might actually make $1,000 or $2,000 in revenue from ads. And that people were complaining. We used to make 2 or 3 times this a couple years ago, and then that changed, and it kept changing, and it was pretty clear. How can it be that back in 2008, someone could run a channel and make 5, 6, some people I knew $7,000 in revenue on a channel that had, I don't know, 60, 70, 80,000 people? You see the problem here? So basically what's happened is, how could the value have changed that much?
I also don't forget what you would say because this conversation has just happened. We didn't script it, nothing. We just started talking. But I know that you'd say, well, you know what it is. You don't like it, get on with it. So don't cry about it. Just get on with it.
How the hell else? You're either an adult or you're not, and very few of us are adults anymore. Go back to the 70s and look at Adam 12. Every adult in that old cheesy TV show, they appear to be adult. Now go look at what's going on TV now. Nobody appears to be adult. It's this instant gratification kind of culture that's grown up around, but
You've got to
that's not even.
basically be. You've got to is this why you're a crow? You've got to be like a hawk, because I hadn't noticed that it was
It's
just the other day when
just
there I was talking to Google. You're not talking to YouTube. You're talking to Google.
Well, it's just common sense, and that's what people have lost. I'm just saying, if something bad happens to you and you don't like it, why would you go put yourself in the position where the same thing could happen again? It makes no sense. And then you scream about it the whole time. When I lost my channel, yeah, I felt like I've been kicked in the gut. I remember opening up my email and seeing it, and it just felt like a kick in the gut. And it started to bother me a lot. And by the evening, I started to step back, take a breath, and say, look, are you going to be a grown up about this? And I said, okay, let's logically look at what's happened here. And meanwhile, people are saying, oh, you got to put up a new channel. And by the next day, I'd already decided, no, that's it. I'm done. I will not be treated this way and come back for more. And then it got better. And within 2 or 3 days, I
Maybe
got my
that's what's
breath back.
happened. Maybe it's not that they've taken anything away. Maybe people have left.
Still one of the biggest platforms in the world. I don't, we have no way to know how many people have had their channels removed. But you see, that's the other thing. The third strike they gave me when they took down my channel was on a lunar wave video, believe it or not. But I hadn't even shot it. Someone else shot it and asked me if I'd run the footage. So that's how bad it was. I did not even shoot or comment on that clip. I just ran a lunar wave. Someone else shot, asked me to run it. And that was my third strike.
I didn't even have any strikes or anything. The channel just went.
It's arbitrary. So I'm just saying, why do people stand for that?
What they do is they just say, you're questioning and you're going, I'm not going away. And then you get someone else, can I help you? And then the same lines come out and then you get someone else. I mean, if I actually video the emails and then put them out, it's just a game. It's just one big game they're playing. It's not the people's fault. They just work there. But it is a game.
Well,
That's what you get into.
I would point out if you're unhappy with where you are, there's other options. A lot of people have
Yeah.
been booted and gone to other platforms, and you're right. Probably if those other platforms get big, some rich corporation will just come buy them. Eventually, there's probably going to be not many places online that aren't under the same game, unless something big changes, and that something has to be people's mindsets. Does a human being deserve to be treated with respect? It comes down to that. Are you going to be an adult and understand that, yeah, a human being does deserve to be treated with respect? If that mind shift happened, then a lot of this wouldn't be happening because it would be unacceptable. In another time, can you imagine where someone worked at a thing for hundreds or thousands of hours and someone just came along and wiped it away? That would not have flown for a second. But somehow now, everyone's been convinced that's just the way it is.
Well, I wish a few other places would go, a few other, those big places it would happen to them. But it's not going to, is it? They're still going to the moon and things.
Well, I hate to do this to you, but we got off to a late start here, and I've got to be somewhere in 8 minutes.
Okay, you need to go. Well, thanks very much for having the chat with us. Can I say a few things offline to you then, Crow?
Sure. You can say
Well,
anything you like.
thank you so much for making this for the hangout. I know you're a really busy person, and thanks again for the sun and moon.
The truth is if you're going to use these
Unscrambled.
platforms, yeah, you're going to have to go down the middle of the road. But anyhow, thanks for having me on again. And I'll try to catch up when I've got more time.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, I'll speak to you offline when I've pressed the button. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you so much, chat room. Mwah.